Hello, Karen here, and today we're going to create shimmery snowflake backgrounds that we're going to turn into 2 cards and 1 gift tag. I'm very excited to share these projects with you, so let's get started.
Have you seen the new Reactive Glitz inks that Hero Arts came out with? I just received my shipment this week. On my projects that I did in today's video, I used French pink and African violet. And on my tag, I used Egyptian blue and Naples yellow. They also have Spanish orange and Byzantine green. I did a little quick swatching over here. I combined them with the Kaleidoscope Snowflake bold print stamp, and I can't wait for you to see what we created.
I'm going to ink blend 2 of the new Glitz reactive inks that were just introduced. I start with French pink, and then I will add African violet. Our first step is to create our backgrounds. Using my extra large blending brush, I pick up some pink and dab the excess onto my craft mat so that I have a smoother blend. Since we are creating 3 projects, I'm going to speed through the ink blending phase. Now that I have my pink down, I'm going to add African violet at the top. The pink is such a great versatile shade, and I love the beautiful violet color too. So here is my 2-tone background. Can you see the lovely shimmer? Step 2 is heat embossing our Kaleidoscope Snowflake bold print. I peel off the stamp's backing, attach to the top of my stamp positioner, and then I use my anti-static powder tool. I apply clear embossing and watermark ink to my stamp. I flip the stamp and apply the embossing ink to my background. I always think heat embossing is a fan favorite. Now that my stamping is done, we're ready to emboss. I liberally spoon white embossing powder over my background, and then I gently tilt my background around so that I have a good coverage of embossing powder on my panel. I quickly tidy up my workspace before I heat set. One thing I like to do is heat up my embossing tool for a minute or more so that it is good and hot. I like to start in a corner, and then I like to keep my heat tool moving so I don't scorch the panel or the ink. Once my panel is embossed, I like to gently polish the embossing with a microfiber cloth. For this first card, I thought it would be fun to add this adorable Peking Penguin die cut. I want to quickly show you how I put my penguin together. I die cut the body twice, once from white cardstock and again from pitch black. Then, with my scissors, I trim the outer rim of the black die cut so that I can glue it on top of the white body. I add a hat, nose, and scarf, and use black neutrals enamel dots for the eyes. I decided I wanted a white frame, so I die cut one using a wood frame infinity die. Now it's time to assemble. I add a darling, warm and cozy sentiment from the Cozy Study Stamp and Die set. Our card is now finished, and I have to say, I love it. The ink colors are beautiful, and I adore the lovely sparkle. On to card number 2. I decided to experiment a little on my second background. I used the same ink colors for both panels, French pink and African violet, but this time I did my ink blending on peony colored cardstock. I concentrated my pink in the middle and then came in with purple around the edges. What I noticed most about the second background is that the colors were more muted, but the shimmery shine is still very striking. I also changed the embossing inks and powders. If you remember, I used clear embossing watermark ink and white embossing powder on card 1. For card 2, I used white pigment ink and clear embossing powder. They are both beautiful, but there is definitely a difference. For the second card, I wanted to embellish the background with glitter cardstock snowflakes. Using the snowflake pattern cover die, I die cut snowflakes from glitter cardstock and white cardstock. I backed the glittery die cuts with the plain white die cuts for a little more dimension. I then placed 3 die cuts in the center of the 3 snowflakes on the background and added my sentiment. Okay, wait for it. I had much fun making this card. Here's card number 2. Let's move on to our final tag. Are you still with me? I also wanted to show you the reactive properties of these Glitz inks. On watercolor paper, I created a Glitz ink background doing ink smushing and a little loose watercoloring. I used Egyptian blue and Naples yellow Glitz ink. Then I added some water droplets to my background panel and blotted dry. I also wanted to add some white splatters with an acrylic block and opaque white acrylic spray. I did this inside a splatter box because it can be messy. My background is ready to make into a tag, but I wanted to show you what the panel looks like before I emboss it. Since we are repeating steps, I'm jumping ahead to embellishing my tag. I've added die-cut glitter snowflakes and am adding a Hero Transfer rub-on sentiment from the Holiday Message Strips transfers. I'm also adding the most adorable mini clay snowflakes. I hope you could see how beautiful they are. I love Hero Transfers and wanted to demonstrate how easy they are to use. Perfect every time. Finish off by adding some Purple Galaxy ink to the edges. I love this color combination. There is just a hint of Naples yellow at the top, along with a beautiful Egyptian blue. And I think the Purple Galaxy ink adds a frosty tint to the edges. Now it's time to glue on clay snowflakes, glitter die cuts, and add a bit of black twine to finish my tag. Isn't the embossing beautiful? I love the mixed media look. And I think adding snowflake die cuts to the center of some of the snowflakes on the background really adds to the tag's theme. So here's our finished IC tag. I'm very pleased with it and plan to embellish a white gift bag with it. I hope you found some inspiration today. I'm so glad you stopped by. Head on over to our blog for more project ideas.